Pain, the great equalizer. Most people say they avoid it, but I know we're all little pain-loving sluts on the inside. Why else would we do things like eat Takis or listen to Nickelback? There's a whole ass market for things that purposely cause you pain, both physical and emotional. Which is why some of the best games out right now have pain literally coded in as part of the experience. Take something like Mario Odyssey. Sure, you can play this and have a wonderful, stress-free, jolly old time full of fun little moments and minor triumphs. Absolutely great game. Not painful at all. Or you can play Elden Ring. A brutal test of endurance as the game constantly beats you down over and over again in an agonizing loop of defeat and failure. Also a great game. Because every time you get beat down, you come closer to a taste. A mere glimpse at the power of getting good. Until eventually you rise from the ashes of those failures.
Oh, it's over. Oh, God.
Get it. Good. Yeah! Finally!
Gotcha, let's fucking go! Sub 35.
They're sucking me up!
I'm a little pain-loving slut and I don't care who knows it. And that's probably why I fell in love with Dark and Darker during his last playtest. If you don't know, Dark and Darker is a dungeon-crawling, Tarkov-style battle royale with Candy Crush elements and Honey Pop-style combat with Telltale aesthetics and a Destiny-inspired gear system that you can actually play with a Wii remote wheel. Alright, it's Tarkov meets Apex meets D&D. But mostly D&D. I mean, they're not trying to hide it. And if you like crying in the fetal position as much as I do, it is addicting. Point of the game is simple. You jump into a lobby with 2 other nerds and then fight through hordes of dungeon crawlies as a circle of darkness forces you in deeper. Eventually, you either die to another group of sweaty nerds, or if you're good enough, you can find portals that let you extract with any loot that you manage to get your grubby little hands on. Sell your shit, buy better gear, go in again. Wash, rinse, repeat. It's basically the same gameplay loop as Tarkov, except shit like this can't happen.
What?
Nope, not in Dark and Darker. You couldn't even open a door in the time it took for that guy to die. Cause this game runs slow. Like your granny on a pop brownie. But also like your granny on a pop brownie, that's not a bad thing. It's only slow compared to what we're used to playing these days. Where your brain has to be a quantum computer capable of analyzing 60 million different inputs at once, all while also playing Sudoku. While in Dark and Darker, you can just roast some fucking marshmallows. It's fantastic. And that's because the game actually makes it a point to slow down its pacing at every opportunity that it gets. Things that you're used to happening instantly will actually take some time here. From opening chests, doors, putting on gear. Even setting up a campfire will give you enough time to replay that weird Starbucks interaction you had the other day like 6 times in your head. Point is, it takes a little getting used to, but the pacing of this game really is one of the best things about it. There is no rushing in Dark and Darker. Unless you're rushing to get that ass spanked, because this game is brutal. Having to open and close doors, for example, makes it impossible to take the old Dark Souls approach of fuck 'em, where you just casually run through everything. Nope. Good luck running through an army of mummies when you have to fumble around with your keys like some dipshit from a horror movie. The enemies here are not the dime a dozen Matrix-style NPCs you're used to flicking away either. These things will fuck you up. Have you ever died to a fart? In Dark and Darker, you will die to a fart. Ah, no! It's the slowest moving fart cloud in the world! Every action you take in this game has to be carefully thought out. And while some classes require a bit more mechanical skill, like the Ranger or Wizard,
Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
most PvP fights boil down to a mix of careful planning, map awareness, good spacing, and, most importantly, knowing when it's time to fuck off. The stat scaling on classes can be crazy, and there's a pretty fat difference between someone rocking a set of white gear and someone rocking a set of blue. So if you're walking around in little wizard scrubs and you come across a full team of dark elf warriors, it might be smart to head the other way. All of this essentially boils down into a brutal test of endurance as the game constantly beats you down over and over again in an agonizing loop of defeat and failure. Oh yeah, that's my shit right there. Every moment you spend in the dungeons is tense and will keep you alert because you are never more than a few bad decisions away from losing all of your shit. Oh, what a nice shiny sword you just got, wow. Would be a shame if you brought it in and lost to a wall spike. So what makes it all worth it? Getting good, sure, but this game actually has something better. On those rare occasions where everyone is too busy dying to fart zombies and you manage to find a little portal hidden in a nook somewhere, when you actually bring stuff out and into your stash, you are rewarded with the greatest gift of them all. Loot ASMR. And those are the broad strokes. I mean, there are 3 maps, a few elite enemies, and even some bosses already in the playtest. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I barely got to do any of that shit because I suck. But also because I didn't have a team to run with, which is kind of a problem for a game like this. It's a shame too because the bosses actually have some fun mechanics to them, but unless you're squatted up with the boys or have insane loot for a solo run, there's just no practical way to experience them. Matchmaking so far involves handpicking from a list of strangers, which, if you're like me, you're not gonna do. So I mostly ended up going alone or with my girlfriend. It was rough. The Goblin Caves, which is the only solo map, can be a bit better sometimes, but it's a lot smaller and honestly a fair bit tougher than the team-based map, which just leads to more, well, you guessed it, more fetal position time, baby. Granted, these are all things that would be solved if, well, if I had any friends. But it would still be nice if the less socially inclined people among us had more viable solo options to help them progress. At the end of the day though, we also gotta keep in mind that this is still only a playtest. The game isn't even early released. Early released? It's not even out yet. Dark and Darker definitely has a fair bit to go before it can be called finished. But from what I'm seeing so far, things seem to be very promising. The devs are extremely vocal on Discord and are not afraid to push hotfixes and tweaks to the balance of the game according to community feedback. It is a breath of fresh mountain air in a space where we're used to smelling swampy ass water. Anyway, the point of all of this is just to say, you should play this fucking game. It really is something unique in a sea of copies and rehashes. I can guarantee you have not played many things like Dark and Darker. And if you're a little pain-loving slut like I am, you're gonna get addicted. Plain and simple. Or should I say, pain and simple.